I'm Jason Takhtadjian with Armenian Sports News, joined by my good friend, mixed martial artist Albert Tadevosyan. Albert, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. What a small world, first and foremost. I found out recently that you actually met my mom, and the Vegas ties. When it comes to the MMA world and also the Armenian community, just continuing to grow, huh?
Yeah, definitely. A lot of Armenians here, good people, and it's nice being here.
Absolutely, man. You're preparing for a big fight. You're going to be on Tuff-N-Uff 154, correct?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So tell me a little bit about the preparations that you got going on right now. What it's been like in your fight camp this time around, and what you're specifically honing in on.
Yeah, I jumped on a fight camp right away for my last one. I've been on back camps for a bit now. I fought in September, then had a little injury, but I was training the whole time. So really haven't been giving myself much of a break. But I'm in the best shape of my life. I had a really good camp and just exciting and very ready for this fight.
You're going to be fighting Darren Smith Jr. And is there anything specific about his fight or his sort of style that you've been preparing for?
Yeah, I've been studying him a lot. He has some good habits, some bad habits. Don't want to share too much right now. Um, I'm prepared for all of it. I mean, he has heavy hands. Definitely dangerous guy, experienced. He beat a lot of, current guys who are on crazy win streak in the UFC, and their last loss was to Darren. So very impressive victories on his end. I actually cornered against him. He beat one of my teammates about 4 years ago. Um, it was a knockout in the first 3 minutes, so I'm not taking him lightly. I do believe I'm better than him everywhere, but I cannot make a mistake against this guy.
I mean, when you did find out that you got that fight with Darren Smith Jr., was that like the first thing that came into your mind? Like, what was your reaction when you found out that he's going to be the guy you're taking on next?
Yeah, I actually asked for him. So he was gonna fill in. He got offered to me for my last fight in California, short notice, and my coach wanted me to have a full cap against him versus couple weeks of training. So we planned on fighting him with a full camp, and so we asked for it, and he was down for it, and we're making it happen.
Wow. There's a lot of anticipation then on your end too.
Definitely, definitely. I actually enjoy fighting high level guys. It's a puzzle that I need to solve, and I fought Dennis Hallman like 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever that time was, and that was one of the funnest camps of my life because I knew I'm fighting a guy whose record was like 65-5, and I'm there 5-0 fighting this guy. So I'm excited for Darren. He's more, I would say, he was more dangerous version of him.
Absolutely. I mean, this is exciting. You're going to be back at Tuff-N-Uff, and wanted to talk to you a little bit about the promotion itself. This is Tuff-N-Uff 154, and you've had your fair share of fights at Tuff-N-Uff. I mean, how just helpful has Tuff-N-Uff been, not just for you, but other fighters that are trying to make it, in this really competitive sport.
I would say it's one of the best regional leagues out there. You got Sean Shelby sitting there front row watching every fight. I mean, what else can you want? Like, he is in there in person. So anybody that want to get recognized and noticed, that's the league to fight at. It's actually my first fight at Tough Enough. I've cornered there my teammates a lot, but I've never fought there myself. So it's
Oh,
very
my
exciting for me.
apologies then. Yeah, my apologies for that.
No, that's okay. I know it seems like I fought there a lot because I've been there a lot in the photos and in the background, but yeah, it's my first one.
So then maybe then you have a different approach, I guess, as far as like you have also the anticipation of you fought Up Next Fighting and all these other promotions. Now you get your shot at Tough-N-Uff to actually be in the ring fighting instead of coaching.
Yeah, it's actually very exciting for me. It's my first fight in Las Vegas, so also another thing, I got friends, family flying all over the country to watch me fight, and it's always exciting, right? But my eyes are sharp on the mission.
Absolutely. And you're not from Vegas. I know that you're originally from the Pacific Northwest, right?
I'm from Seattle, yeah.
Gotcha. So what's the Armenian experience like? If you don't mind me asking and diverting a little bit, what the Armenian experience is like in Seattle? What is that like for
We have an amazing community there. A lot of Armenians. We're very tight, very close with each other. We have a Armenian house where it's next to the Armenian church with school for the kids. I'm a deacon in the Armenian church. I've been serving there my entire life. So it's a great community. We have a great priest, and everybody's very close together because we're so far from um, too many Armenians, I would say, from Glendale or Armenia, right? And we value each other. We love each other there. It's different.
Wow, I'm glad that you actually brought that up, and I wanted to mention, the last fighter that I interviewed for Armenian Sports News in this capacity was Leon Shabazian. He mentioned, how important his faith is for him. I wanted to ask you too, since you brought that up, just how important it is for you being a deacon, and just what that's like to be part of the Armenian community in that capacity, and keep the generation and the culture going that way.
Yeah, it's obviously very, very important. I love raising the flag. As you noticed, my shorts, my shirts always have the flag. I lived in Yerevan until I was age 15. I go there every single year. I'm a proud Armenian, and I try to be, as humble as I can to represent Armenians the right way and represent Christians the right way. Really trying to stay away from the trash talk and all that marketing stuff that to me, like, that brings money, and money is not important to me. I fight i fight for many other reasons other than money, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You fight for your culture. You also fight for your family too.
Yeah, yeah, everything. I mean, my kids love it. They're cheering for me, my nephews, my nieces, it's very nice to make them proud. I used to fight for myself and selfish reasons. Now that I've built so much skills over the last 17 years of fighting, that this skill, I can't just throw it in the trash and retire. I'm going all the way in. I'm a little bit delusionally optimistic that I'm the best fighter in the world right now, and the best welterweight, and that's how you got to think. If you don't think that way, you shouldn't fight. So I'm thinking that, I believe in that, and I just want to get out there and really just lock in a contract to fight against the best fighters in the world. That's my main mission.
Absolutely. I mean, you have that extra motivation in you too, because for people who don't know, you had a fight in the UFC umbrella under against Chaos Williams that was canceled. Is that what you're also motivated to achieve? Is to get back into that sort of area?
Yeah, man, that was the most heartbreaking 24 hours of my life. I actually went through a serious depression when that fight got canceled. It was very hard for me to recover mentally, but I just had to get over it and move forward. And it was very hard. It was very hard. So I'm trying to get back in. I'm trying to get back in. I need to have a impressive victory. I need to win. I can't win just to win. I need to win impressively, and put on a show, put on a great performance. I'm ready for that, and hopefully I am able to execute that on Friday night.
Absolutely. I mean, what's helped you kind of try to move on from that? Or what has helped you move on from that mentally?
To sign up for another fight.
That's good. Just keep yourself busy, right?
Yeah, exactly. So just sign up and just shift that focus into from past to the future. And you know what? This is the fight in front of me. I'm gonna fight. I actually fought in Seattle in September, so I got that victory. And then I fought in March, which was a very, very disappointing loss for me. But after 7-fight win streak, sometimes you make a mistake and you lose, and that's okay. And I'll get back on the streak again.
Right. I mean, I guess that's like a lesson of like that's just kind of sometimes how the fight game goes. But you said that you've been in this game for like 17 years. I mean, when you look at it now, you're 34 years old, correct?
Yes.
So, what would you say with all the experience and knowledge you have now to 24-year-old Albert Tadevosyan?
Um, drill more, drill more. Try to be an expert at one move, at a time. We would get in there and we would just try to kill each other back in the day. I would say also surround yourself with high level team and coaches that is going to just bring you up with them. So that's one of the most important things.
It's interesting you said that. There was a fighter, I forget who it was exactly. I saw it on Instagram that they were saying like, don't worry about, sparring and doing these, fights, like focus on drilling. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Maybe for folks who don't know just what that's about, just trying to hone in on that.
Yeah, so the saying drills make killers, right? But when you learn a move, say you did it an hour in training and then you go out there and you pulled it off in training a few times, okay, great. But that move is not going to work against a world-class athlete unless you're an expert at it. So you got to drill that for thousands of hours, right? Like what Bruce Lee said, I'm not afraid of a guy who knows 1,000 moves. I'm afraid of a guy who knows one move that practiced 1,000 times. That is a very, very real thing. And every move, if you notice, every fighter is an expert at a very small area of a fight, right? The fighters that become an expert at many things become the GOATs. But that expertise is very important. It only comes with thousands of hours.
Wow, okay, that's interesting, and that's really nice to see that sort of perspective too, because especially nowadays, it feels like there's more Armenian kids than ever that are getting into wrestling and combat sports, and they might be, thinking about all the glitz and the glamour, but like you got to also think about, discipline and what you need to do to actually succeed.
Yeah, yeah. In my early years, I did not drill as much. And I noticed the guys who would just stay an extra hour, 2 hours just to do one move over and over, how they elevated their levels, made me realize that drilling is everything. Obviously, you have to have a schedule. There's days you got to go hard, and there's days you got to drill and go easy. And you got to do that, a couple days a week hard because we have so many injuries. I mean, I don't want to list them, but every camp I get so many injuries. It's just a matter of can you continue the camp with the injuries or not? The injuries are always there. So it's smarter to pick and choose the hard days and the amount of hard practice you want to have because I mean it's just our joints and we take a lot of beating. So drilling is also giving us a break.
Yeah, definitely. That's hopefully, some kids are listening to this and they learn from that too, because that's something that, you can even apply that outside of fighting too in life. Just the repetition of doing certain things a certain amount of times, kind of like what you just said with Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I would say the boring things, right? The boring things is
Yeah.
what makes world champions, and that includes in my business, right? I'm in a sales business. I own an insurance agency. Same thing. The boring conversations, the boring stuff that other sales teams or offices are not willing to do is what gets you to become great. And we've been doing that, and we focus on the boring things, and it actually works.
I was actually going to ask you about that. That's a good segue that you're not just a fighter. You're a fighter by night, but by day, you actually are involved with a couple things, right? A couple businesses.
I have several businesses, to be honest.
Oh,
I have a startup company. I have insurance agencies. I have a franchise restaurant, which is downsized to one. I used to have three. I got other gigs going on. We're working on a gym as well. So, some of them I'm with partners, some of them I'm alone. And I have a great team at every business that I have. Uh, Without my team, I wouldn't do any of this. I wouldn't have time to do any of this.
I mean, question to kind of wrap things up here. Let's talk about business and let's talk about career. First, business. What do you want to achieve in the next, let's say, 5 years when it comes to the business ventures that you got going on?
I would like to own five more commercial properties, and I would like to own 10 residential houses. So that I put a hard goal. Probably the next 2 years, I will have the 10 residentials, and the next 5 years, I'll have the commercial properties. That's a very heavy goal, and I'm gonna press forward to get there.
Oh, that's very audacious, but I love it because that sounds like you're very motivated, you're very set, and that translates when it comes to, not just life, but also sports, right? Being dead set on something and doing it.
That's what it's about. It's like having an address and no GPS. It's gonna take you forever to get there. You don't know how to get there. But if you have a GPS, you're going to get there 100 times faster than without a GPS, just the address. So imagine not knowing how to get somewhere. It's going to take you forever, right? So when you have a goal, when you put a goal and you put a timeline and make it realistic, now you're working towards that goal and you have to just break it down month by month. What can you achieve? So that's what every single person should do is put a timeline, put a goal, make it realistic, and go for it.
Wise words, Albert. Now I want to leave you off with this. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but what are some short term and long term goals that you have for your MMA?
I want to get in the UFC. That's been my dream for a long time. I'm always shooting for the highest possible turnout, that's possible. So I want to get in the UFC. I want to fight there. It's been my dream since I started. I'm not interested in any other league. I just want to, test myself against the best fighters in the world. And so I can retire peacefully.
And I have to ask you, is there a fighter that you like, a dream fighter that you would love to fight in your weight class, or a fighter that you just have your eyes on?
A dream fighter, honestly, no. I'd fight anybody. Honestly, I would fight anybody. I think I'm a tough matchup for anybody, um, anywhere in the world. So really, I don't have like a specific picks. Obviously, the best would be the most preferred, right? Because I have nothing to lose. But I got a long way to go to actually call somebody out. So um, I'm just gonna take one fight at a time and be humble and not say anything and just give me the opponents and let me see what I got.
Good answer. Awesome. Well, I think that's all I got for you, Albert. Thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck June 5th.
Yes, sir.